Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. I'm happy to be here today, and I hope you are too. I am excited about our topic today, which is building a lasting recruitment strategy so that we have enough staff to grow. And this topic on recruitment is a really important one because if we're not constantly recruiting staff, then we're losing. It's like when I am working with salons and employees, team members, and we talk about building clients, we talk about there's a natural attrition rate, right? A natural rate of loss. So if they're, which is about 10%, and if they're not building 20% of their team or of their clients year over year, and they're losing 10%, they're barely at a 10% growth year over year. So it's kind of the same thing when we talk about building a recruitment strategy to have ongoing, incoming potential staff for us to hire. And what I see and what I'm hearing that is a major pain point in our industry today, and I hear it, I see it on forums, owners forums, I hear it in my with my coaching clients, that I'm looking for good people to hire, or I'm just looking for staff. Where do you find staff? And a lot of people say that I'm hearing that since 2020, since COVID, they haven't been able to find good people. And I will say that, yes, in 2020 to 2021, 22, COVID was a major disruptor in our industry. And one of the reasons, and we know this, is that the beauty schools were closed for so long that all of the graduating classes came to a halt. And even students that went to the schools that were coming out of the schools didn't even have hands-on training with clients. Okay, we get that. Most of us that are here made our way through those hard times. Some people didn't even make it through. We did. We're here. And it's been a little bit more challenging, but I want to be really honest here. Before 2020, one of the biggest pain points that I heard from owners was that they couldn't find staff. And so this isn't a new conversation, and it just seems a little more rampant right now. And I want to talk a little bit about when it is that we are looking for staff. And most of the time, people are looking for staff when somebody quits. And so then, as owners, we're looking to go rush out and find somebody to replace that person. And that is not a formula that works in our industry. It just isn't. It's not like I need to replace a clerk up front to ring people out for the dresses that they're buying. And I'll just teach them how to, work the front desk. It is insane that is the time that owners feel the need to go and try to find somebody. Shelby, good to see you. She said, always, pipeline needs to be full. 100% it needs to be full. I want to say good morning to Sam. Thanks for coming in. Jennifer, I see you. Victoria, Shelby, I love that you're here. Warms my heart. Morgan, good to see you. Dina, Brenna, Tyler, glad you're here. All right, guys. So look, I'm going to give it to you flat out, right? People are not wandering the streets waiting for you to say, I'm hiring. Like, there's no busy bus that's driving around with potential future employees for you that the minute you need somebody, they're going to drop off a load of people for you to interview. It doesn't work that way. And I feel passionate about that. I might be getting a little bit heated because I want you to really hear this. When you lose somebody, you should have a replacement in the queue. You should constantly have people that are being trained to move into going out on the floor, going into the aesthetics room, whatever departments you need to fill. That if you don't have a pipeline, as Shelby calls it, I appreciate that word. If you don't have that queue of people that are constantly being trained, then you're going to find yourself, I'm going to assume, quite often up a creek without a raft. Okay. As it is, statistically, a new hire that starts working with you, as it is, just by not doing anything wrong, by just being, you have a 30 to 50% retention rate within the first year somebody comes to work with you. And I know that you know this, you might not put those statistics on it, but you feel it. You probably say to yourself, I hope this one lasts. Well, because your history is that 30 to 50% of the time, the person that you hire in their first year quits. And for whatever reason, but the retention is higher and they stay longer if there are certain things in place. And we'll talk about that too. But I mean, first we have to get people in the door. And so, when you are going out to start looking for people and start hiring, there are things that need to be in place. And when you think of like running your business, we always talk about this here that we, under the roof of our business, we have departments, right? We have our guest relations department, we have our education department, maybe you have an HR, finance, operations. I mean, you have these different departments in your company. So how many people here have a recruitment department? And the very first time that I heard about a recruitment department is when I was interviewing Van Council on one of my webinars. And when this was years ago, before COVID, when he talked about a recruitment department, my ears perked up and I thought to myself, gosh, we're out recruiting and doing this and that, but I never looked at it like a department. Because when we have a department, we have things in place for the department, right? Like for our finances, that department, we have things in place. We need to hit our benchmarks. We get our financials between the 15th and 20th of the month. We have a budget, hopefully, that you're working off of, right? So there are different practices that we do, whether we think about it or we don't, in every department in our company. A recruitment department should be no different. And there are specific things that I want to talk about today that I want you to think about that could live under the category of a recruitment department. And if you are a company that wants to grow, you have to have more people coming through the queue to get out onto the floor. And that means having a structured education program. It means having a growth path. It means having a compensation package. And these are things, if you go back into my lives over the past 2 months, I've talked about all of these things, is getting these things put into place. So when you start recruiting, you have something to talk about to these new recruits. And what is your unique marketing strategy? What is your unique selling point of your business that when somebody interviews with you, that they say, you know what, this is the place for me because I have all of these opportunities. They know what the growth path is. They know what their long-term compensation package looks like. Year 1, year 2, year 3. They know how often I need to be they know how often they need to be at education and all these different things, right? So these are the things that I want for you guys to think about when we talk about a recruitment department. So a few things that I have that I want you guys to take note of to have in your recruitment department is, and I'm going to go through them and then I'm going to elaborate, a social media presence, a website that gives potential new hires a lot of information, a partnership with local beauty schools, an education program. So those are 4 main things that I want to talk about today. And let's get started with social media. So again, I'm going to say, what is your unique marketing strategy for, I call them onlookers, for students or potential employees? So specifically, I see on people's social media that they're posting a lot of the hair that they do, which I think is great because I think it shows a vibe of what your company is into. Like, this is the type of hair we do. Is it funky? Is it blondes? Is it extensions? I can go to a page and say, and look through the work and be able to say, oh, this is the vibe. This is the work that they do there. And I love extensions. So this is maybe where I want to work. Or I love doing blondes or short hair or funky colors. The work is fine, but it doesn't show a potential employee what the day-to-day looks like in your company. Like, do we have fun working here? Are there educational events going on here? If I am going to look at your page, and I guarantee you, anybody that is even considering coming to work for you, they're going to go right to all of your social channels, and they're going to look up, like, can I see myself here? Is this a fit? Before social media, for anybody that remembers, I do, I hate to admit it, but we didn't have that luxury to advertise who we were, what a day in the company looks like, who the staff that you're going to be working with are we having fun, what are some of the kooky, fun, crazy things we do, what are some of the educational things that we do, and inviting them in on a social basis. So take a look at your social media and see if it's diverse, or if you just have pretty pictures that cover your whole grid. So if that's the case, then it might be time to start integrating some fun things and start thinking, if I was somebody seeking out a job and I look at that page, what are all the elements that I could see? What is it saying to me without you saying it to me? You guys get me? All right. The second thing that is critical when you are recruiting, and again, you know, we put ads on Indeed, we put ads on Craigslist, we put ads out on our social calendars, social media. And what happens when somebody clicks through? So they're clicking through to look at your grid. We just talked about that. Then the next place they go is your website. And so when you look at your website, is there a place that's welcoming that says join our team or careers at blank business? And when you click through to careers, then what does it say? What kind of information is it giving out? If you want to have a look at our website at Gila Root, go to gilaroot.com when you have a minute, and you can look at, I think it says join our team. But we redid ours, I think a year and a half or 2 years ago, to really give potential staff a lot of information so they feel like they can lean in and know, what can I make on average? What does the educational path look like? What does the career path look like? What does the whole compensation package include? What is included in me working there? And the more information that you can give on your website, the more somebody is going to feel like, oh, wow, okay, I looked at their social channels. It looks pretty good. Now I'm going to go to the website and I'm liking what I'm seeing and reading. And then right from the website, something that has worked amazing for us is there's a link on the website to book a meet and greet. And that link is connected to a Zoom call. And so they can do a express interview by clicking the link and booking a time with the manager of that location. And it doesn't have to be something big and formal, like where somebody's filling out an application, they come in and turn it in. That could work. That could work too. But this day and age, you see more immediate gratification options. And I want you guys to look at, how can I satisfy the generation of immediate gratification? Because whether you like it or not, it's here. And we need to start looking at how we can capture people that we got to our website. It's hard enough to get people to your website. Then you get them to your website, and how can I have some strategies in place to then bring them in and at least have a conversation that might be quicker than me calling and seeing when I can meet with somebody. Again, that could work too. But look around at different people's websites and see what you feel is going to work for you. But I would really encourage having some kind of contact link where they can contact you and have a conversation with you. Okay, that was number 2. Number 3, partnership with local beauty schools. And when I say a partnership, I don't mean like that you're telling me that you went in there last year once and then you're frustrated because you don't have an influx of people. That's just like crazy talk. Okay. When you think about a partnership with anybody, it could be a partnership with my wife, a partnership with my son, a partnership with my business partner. I don't meet with them once and then know that everything is going to be fine and we are connected. Hello. No, a partnership is I want to get to know you. I want to get to know your team. I want to get to know the students. And in order for me to do that, I need to be able to go in there frequently, quarterly, so that I not only see some of these students when they first start school, but even in their quarter 2 and quarter 3 and quarter 4. And now they're getting to know who we are and the vibe of what we stand for as a company. When we go into the beauty schools or when we've gone in, I have to change my language, you guys, because I'm talking like I still own a salon and I sold my salons this past year. When we have gone in, those salons are still going in. We build a partnership with the schools. And we don't go in with the goal of promoting our company. That's never been our goal. We don't go in to sell our business. We go in to educate the future professionals. Because look, everyone that's in that class that we're standing in front of, they're not our customer, if you will. They might not be the person for us. There might be 3 people in there that might be a fit for us. So our goal instead is to say, how can we go into the schools and give them great education and show them who we are, not necessarily tell them who we are. So we do artistic programs when we go in. We'll do a cut, maybe a pre-done color, or we'll do placement application. It always is integrated with business. And when we talk about business, when we go into the schools, it's anywhere from how to interview, how to prepare for an interview. What should they be looking for? What questions should they be asking? And it's really interesting going into the schools and finding out from them, what are the important things in their life that they need to have in a business? And we encourage them to write that down because, like, for one person, part-time and flexibility might be the thing that's super important to them. For another person, it might be health insurance. For another person, it might be an education path. And so in order for them to have more longevity when they do find a place, it's critical that they are satisfying what their own needs are, not some generic needs that, oh, they offer these things, but really none of them relate to me. So we help them to write down a priority list of what is it in a list of in the order of a priority, what is going to be speak to them with a job that they know they're going to get their needs met, at least on the level of what that company is offering. We also talk about numbers and benchmarks when we go in and how they're doing in the school, because as an employer, when we have people come in to interview and you want to call a reference, well, their last reference for the past year is the school. And we tell them that. We call the school to see, how was this person? Did they come in on time? Did they, right? It's like that was their job. And so again, to hire quality people, guys, you need to not be standing in the desperation shoes. And you want to hire people out of inspiration, not out of desperation. Okay? Hear me when I say that. You want to hire people because you're inspired, because they speak to who you are as a company, not because they have a pulse. Right? You're like, do you have a pulse? Okay. Are you a warm body? Are you alive? All right, come on and work for me. No, you don't want to get to that level. And we had, when I was owner, a philosophy that if we needed 3 people, I hired 5. And I'm going to go back to the statistics when we first started this live, back to the top of the hour, when there are statistics that 30 to 50% of people that join your team will quit within the first year. And I always counted on, you know what, we're going to keep 50 to 60% of the people that we hire. So if I need 3 people and I only hire 3 people, I'm probably only going to be left with 1 or 2 people. That's not enough. So if I hire 5 people, I'll probably be left with the 3. And I don't know why they're going to leave. I don't know which one's not going to leave, but you never know what happens. And you guys know what I'm talking about when I say you hire someone, you start training them, you do all this onboarding, you get all the team like into their education and their growth, and they're like, I'm quitting, right? It's just like, oh my God, we're already 2 months in, 3 months in, where a lot of things happen. And so what are some things that we can have in place to build that retention? One is overhiring. And I know that you might think to yourself, well, Carrie, what about my service provider payroll on my P&L? And you always say to me, it shouldn't exceed more than 45% of my service dollars. And that is exactly what I'm saying. So that means you can't pay 45%, people. You have to have room for associates or assistants or apprentices, whatever you call them. And so that they're going through training, and they also make up that whole group called my service provider payroll does not exceed more than 45% of my service dollars. That doesn't mean you can't pay people 45%. You just can't pay everybody. So maybe you have a sliding scale. That's a whole compensation conversation. But what I'm saying to you is, if you want sustainability and have a profitable company, you have to watch your payroll. But yet I'm here telling you to overhire. Yeah, I am, because it's an investment that we have to have room for on our P&L to allocate for hiring new people. That is the future of your company. If you don't have new people in the queue, I guarantee you somebody's going to quit, and you're going to be like, why didn't I have people in the queue? You could really only have people in the queue, I guess not only, but logically, if they're in an education program. And so, let's talk next about, which is my point number 4, is education program and compensation programs. Salons that offer internships or apprenticeships tend to have better success rate in retaining beauty school graduates. Studies show that 70% of beauty school graduates prefer a salon that offers continuing education and a mentorship program as a part of their job offer. Those are huge numbers, guys. 70% of beauty school students, they've been surveyed, prefer working for a company with an education program and a mentorship program so that they feel they can grow into this job. Nobody gets out of school and feels confident going out onto the floor. That's just not a thing. It's one thing to work on mannequins and to work on people that come into a school that know that they're seeing students. And it's another thing to feel confident taking a paying client and living up to the standard of your company. And you owe it to these new kids coming in to train them. So to have a training program, compensation and career growth, offering competitive pay and a clear career growth opportunity is critical. And a report from PBA, the Professional Beauty Association, found that beauty school graduates prioritize salons that provide structured career paths, with 20% higher likelihood of accepting offers from salons that have defined promotion and education systems. I mean, if you put all these stats together, these are all systems that need to be layered into your company. Layered a mentorship program, layered in an education department where you have an educator that consistently trains the new people every single week. What can they count on? How long will they be in education? How many models are they going to need? What is the graduation, criteria? How do I get promoted to move from one level to the next so that I can continue to have more financial success and sustainability? If you don't have these things in place, it's going to be harder for you to lock in those new hires, potential new employees that are looking around. There are a lot of salons that are hiring. And, when we have gone into the beauty schools, we teach the students to interview the owner or the manager, whoever is in that interview with them. They have a right to interview the company to see, am I going to get my needs met? That my number one priority is health insurance. Maybe that's it. Okay, do they offer that, and how much do they pay of that, and what am I going to need to make to pay the rest of that? And then my second priority is education. I really want to be trained. Okay, did they offer me? And I'm not talking about education by watching me do hair. I'm talking about a legit education program. And is that, if you have it, advertised on your website? So all of the layers that I talked about today. So we talked about creating a recruitment department. We talked about having your social media represent not only the work you do, but a day in the life of your company, right? So if I'm a potential new person, I can look at your grid and say, that looks like a super fun place to be. I could see myself there. Website. Then they go to your website and they're like, what's the website all about? Oh, careers. Let me click on the careers button. Look at all those happy people in that picture that says, want to work here, or careers, or job opportunities. Then I click through and I could see what are the wages? What is the compensation package? What's included? What could my education path be? It needs to be juicy, guys, right? So website, partnership with local beauty schools. All right, get in there, and maybe you have a few local beauty schools. Find one to start with and get in there every quarter and start building relationships, even with administration. The other thing with schools that is super important, that has been so helpful, whenever we have our salon celebrations, our big company meetings, or we have an educator come in and we're having events, we always call the beauty schools and invite beauty school students. That is also, so they're our guest, and we introduce them. We treat them like they're one of the team. So they're getting like a morning or a day experience in the day of the life of what it would be like to work here. So if you're having big kickoff events, call the schools and say, who are your top people? Who's about to graduate? And invite them to any event that you have going on at your company. So that's truly partnering. And then the last thing we talked about is an education and compensation package. If you didn't hear my last few lives, I specifically talked about compensation packages. One of them is specific to managers. The other one is specific to staff. And how do you talk about a compensation package to people and everything that it includes, as opposed to what percentage you offer someone? That's old news. What do you offer as a company that would make me feel like I belong, because I can prosper here, I have my needs met here, I feel safe and secure here, and there's growth opportunity for me? So, all right, guys. So throw me some, as we kind of start to close today, throw me some comments, any aha moments today, something that you feel you want to take away and that you could plug into the systems that you already have, that would be helpful for you and your business. So as you're typing and giving me comments, because you know I love participation, if you need help, if you need support, call me, right? You can go to my website, you can book a complimentary discovery call with me and see if there is room there for you to grow. I'm here. It's what I do. So throw me any comments in the feed here so that I can see what are some things that you want to put in place. Sam, a recruitment department. Yeah, just that word kind of puts you into action, right? Around like, what are the different elements that you need for your recruitment? So I love that. Jennifer, so good to see you. Con, good to see you. Okay, guys, any of my Insta people chatting it up? I guess not. Are your fingers not typing fast enough? Well, I am going to thank you for showing up and being with me this morning. And next week, I don't know what I'm going to talk about yet, but if you have anything that you want me to bring up and talk about for next week, I'm here for you, right? I'm here for it. So if you want me to talk about my retired life, do I seem retired? I could talk about that. If you want to talk about salon exit strategies, we can talk about that. Um, Hit me up. Let me know what you want to talk about next week. I'm all for it. Have an amazing week, you guys. Think about what new program you want to put into your company this week to elevate where you are and who you attract. Hire out of inspiration. Have a great week. Bye.